Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to the session of learning Python. So in this video today, I'm going to talk more about Python functions. So this is your friend Kansham here. So let's discuss in more detail about Python functions. So this particular chapter basically, giving you more concept on the all the details related to the functions. So as we understand what is function, so unlike any other program, the functions is nothing but a piece of code, a block of code, where if you give some input, it will do some processing and it will fetch you some result, right? It will return some result to you. So mostly this function basically, uses for mathematical calculations. If there are any data you wanted to, derive from some logic, you wanted to have some expression, that time basically we are writing the functions, right? So in Python, we are defining a function with a keyword called as a def, right? So let's quickly run one small functions and understand how we can, create a function. Let's execute this particular example in our so here, one thing, as I said very clearly in the beginning of our session, right? Like we need to be very careful related to the indentation while you are running any executing any particular code. That will, help you to, minimize your errors. So let me execute this particular program, as is a very simple program, and as you can see, there is no result because we have just defined the functions, but not call the functions. So how do we call the function? Very simple. You just need to say my function, right? And I'm not passing any parameter, right? So let's execute it. Okay, so you know why it is the error? Error because of this indentation. It is falling under this def. So if I have to remove the indentation, then only it will be treated as a calling the functions or as a new separate statement, right? So see, yeah. So this is how we can, define the function. This is how we can call the functions. Now there are two more important things: how we can pass the parameter inside the functions, and what is the meaning of parameter and what is the meaning of argument. So here, one thing to understand is that parameter, whatever the value will be, like whatever the condition, whatever the definition you are passing inside this function is will be called as a parameter, and the actual value which will be called inside this while calling this function with the value, that those are called as an argument, right? So let's understand more detail from this particular chapter, right? So values can be passed into a function as an argument, and just for an example, there is one more function. For an example, if I'm passing as a parameter and then I'm calling with the different values, different inputs, those values which will go inside the function will be called as an argument, right? So let's here see if name I'm passing as a parameter, and you know yeah, and these are not the part of this function. This is only the part of this function. So let me just run this. Okay, so this particular is called as fname is here is a parameter, but the value Vani, Vihan, and SQL are basically the argument, are the actual value which getting replaced with the fname while calling this particular function. So, and which is getting concatenated with the last name, right? So this is how we can pass the parameter inside the function. Also, the more important one more aspect is like, can we uh, you know understand like how many parameters we can pass inside the function. So based on your business logic, you can define a number of parameters inside your function. So for an example, if you see here first name, last name, you can pass it here. And suppose if you don't know how many argument that you can pass into your function, you can use this asterisk keyword that will help you out, passing the values inside your parameter. For an example, you can see here, if I have to define my function and I don't know how many parameter I need to pass, then what I can do is just and you are passing the value as a list, right? So you just pass with the asterisk and it will automatically taken care by this Python function. So I'm not going to execute this particular function. You can try at your end, and you can comment me, or you can let me know whether it is giving any error or anything. You are just trying to experience. Fine. So let's go ahead with the other aspects of this functions. The important thing is, like, we can also default the value inside the function definition. Just for an example, this is one of the beautiful example I would like to quote over here. See, here, when I'm passing the parameter as a country, I'm defaulting the value. So most of the time, whenever you are not calling a function without any value, then by default this particular value will be defaulted. Let's execute this particular program, and then we'll understand in more detail, right? We'll give a more confidence. Yeah. So keep it in your mind that whenever you are running any execution of your program, indentation in Python is very, very important. See here, these are the callings. I'm calling with a different country name, but here this particular, while I'm calling this statement without any value. So here, the function will be defaulting the value from the definition of the function. So let's execute this and let it get confirmed. So you can see here the value is being taken from the default value from the function. Very quickly, we'll go ahead and we'll look into the other examples. Default parameter we have understood. Okay, see how we can pass the different collection, whatever the collections are there in the Python. How can we? Is it possible to pass those as an argument inside the function? Yes, it is possible. And the very good example, if I have give here, that will give you more understanding. You can see here this is a list, and I'm just defining one parameter called as a food, and and through the loop I'm just executing those elements from the collection, and when I'm passing those array as an input to the function, this particular looping can be done over those elements. So let's quickly get out. Let's quickly check it out. Oh, come on. Yeah, here because then whenever you are copy pasting, right, so most of the time the indentation will be in challenge, right? So yeah, let me execute this. Yeah. So you can see here I'm passing this fruit, which is a list, as an input to this function, and this looping basically going through this list element, and then it is printing. So this is one of the important aspects we need to understand, we need to practice, then and only we have to be little more confident on this. See, return values. So most of the functions basically returns the values. You can use the keyword called as a return. Right. So, like for an example, you wanted to just return these values. You don't need to write a print statement directly. You can make use of keyword called as a return. Right. So let's see here. What I'll do was, yeah. And yeah, let's see. This was just you just execute, and it will return the value directly. Most of the functions basically used in that way only. We are just returning instead of writing print statements and all. Let me quickly understand a few more details about the function is like, yeah, suppose for an example, you are in a initial stage of developing some program, in a big program, but you don't have the, you don't have the, some definition will be used, and then you need to, for the time being, you can just define the function and you can just write the pass keyword. I'm not going to write this going to execute this statement, but you can just write the pass statement and it is going to be work out. So that is going to work out. So yes, so this pass statement, I'm not going to execute this particular pass statement. You just run it. It's just for helping you how to while defining the functions. Right, great. One important, very very important concept in function is recursion. When you are calling the same function in itself in the same function, that is the meaning concept called as recursion. So you are defining a function can call itself. So basically the recursion will be used mostly in a mathematical and a programming concept. So it function call itself, right? So it can loop through the data to reach a result. So it is very important for the developer to be little careful while defining a recursion function, because you should not get into a deadlock condition where you cannot come out from the particular logic. So you need to be little careful while you are defining recursion concept. So because and it will be mostly used for the mathematical expressions and all. So I show you one example of the recursion function where it is calling its own function, right? So I have already written these programs just to see the timelines, right? And so this is a particular example. I'll just try to explain a little more. But before that, I would like to go for execution of this function. I have given a 4, so you can see here. So this particular, I'm passing a value here, 4, and which is checking here like whether it is greater than or 0 or not. And then when I'm printing the result, it is just going and calling the recursion function again. So if I have to say 4, so it's 4 into 3, right? It is going inside, and then it is again checking and then coming. And basically, see, the important thing to understand over here is because we are doing the minus j minus 1, whatever the parameter we are value we are passing. The important thing is that is where we can come out from the deadlock. So you need to be very careful while you are defining the recursion function. Now, the next important thing what we need to understand is yeah. Yeah, lambda function, right? The most popular concept in Python is the lambda function. So why lambda functions are very popular? The reason is, unlike any other program, mostly I am coming from the Oracle background where, we have a lot of SQL and PLSQL programming language. And also mostly whenever we used to write any program, those are called as an anonymous program or a named program, right? So those anonymous blocks we are writing, we want to calculate something. So it is over the run, over the tip, we are writing the program, and we execute and it gives some value. Similarly, for the lambda function also, if you wanted to do some sort of a calculation for a short period, you can use this particular functions. So that is why it is called as a anonymous function or nameless function. Okay, and which we don't possess any particular name, unlike your definition, unlike your function which have some name, right? So yeah, we basically use the def keyword. The power of lambda is better shown when we use them as an anonymous function inside another function. So let's see a few more examples with that. So you can see here, we just need to call like this. And the important thing over here to understand for the lambda function is that, it can take any argument, okay? It can take any argument. I'll just run it. So I'm passing this value as a 8, and then, it basically contain your expression. Any number of parameter, and it contains an expression that gives you the value. I'm sorry. And yeah, so a few things to understand from the lambda function aspects is that it can have multiple argument, but it can always have one and only one expression. If there is a need of function object in the code, the lambda function can be used there. It could be passed as an argument itself to be built in and customized higher order functions. And most of the time in our mind comes like why we are using the lambda functions where we have already the functions there in the place. We can define our own functions and give the name. Then why what is the uses of using the lambda functions? Then the reason is very simple. As the method and the functions are used to modularize the code and make it more readability, and mostly use the lambda functions mostly when there is a computational, less small or single time computation for the short time, for short period of time. So here, the popularity comes. You don't need to define your functions and all. You can just over the tip, you can use this lambda function just for our expression, just for, for short period of time where we can use the lambda functions, right? So with the lambda function, there are a lot of things comes into way, such as, we have the filter functions, we have a map functions, reduce function. Let's see one example with a filter condition. So by using this, lambda function, we can make use of the filtered method. Let's execute this example and we'll give us some more clarification. So I'm just using this lambda expression by using just to filter this list, and then we'll see, and passing this particular list into this lambda. Let's see with an example. Yeah, you can see based on your logic, based on your business oriented requirement, you have to write the expression, and you can do the filtration. So this is all about for Python functions. In the next video, I will be talking more about one of the very important object oriented concept called as a class and objects. So till the time, I would say that thank you so much for joining this session, and please comment, or please let me know if you have any questions regarding Python functions. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you very much.